Alright, so this is how you create an atmosphere in a level. I'm using my level SCP Foundation, and first we're just going to take a look at how it actually looks.
Welcome to the SCP Foundation. You've been harmed, Guardian.
So now I'm going to remove what I used to make the atmosphere, and I'm going to show it to you without it, and you're going to see a major difference.
Welcome to the SCP Foundation.
As you can see now, it's much more empty. So now I'm going to go to a random layer. I'm choosing 20 because why not? I tried to pick a layer without anything on it later in the level, but it turns out there was. So I'm using the biggest glow block, and I'm going to go on a white color, and I'm scaling it to 2.0. Now what you're going to want to do is turn on swipe and free move, and go to build, and you're just going to want to go to town on it, like as if you're coloring something in. Just like scribble around with it and really make it big. Make sure it's the area you want it to cover and a bit more. And as you can see, I tried the copy paste trick, but if it's not shaped like a cube, it's not going to work. But you don't want it shaped like a cube, because otherwise it'll just look bland. Right, so the copy paste didn't work out, so I'm just going to go back to what I was doing before. I have to remake the glow dot, going back on that color, and I'm not setting the opacity of that color yet. And that's not what I meant to do. I hate it when I'm on edit when I'm supposed to be on build, or build when I'm supposed to be on edit. It's a lot more annoying when you're on build. You're supposed to be on edit. See, I don't care if I'm going outside the lines, like if I'm going over the roof or the floor. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to select all of it, and because there were things in this layer, I had to make sure it would only select that glow, and I'm going to set it for the next channel, and don't fade, don't enter. That's very important, especially for an atmosphere. You don't want it to fade or enter, or else it's really going to take away the effect. And now I'm going to set the move for it. Remember, I have mine on the 40-second layer. You're probably not going to have that, or the 40-second channel. You're probably not going to have that. It'll probably be earlier. Now this is important. What you're going to want to do is set the move to we're going to lock it to player X. First we have to set the ID to what it was, and then we're going to move it forever, because we can always use the stop, well, technically 99 seconds. And I'm going to lock it to player to X. Right, I'm locking it to player X. And now I'm going to copy and paste that one and move it up one and over just a bit and set it to move -1000. This was a bit wrong when I set it at first, and I'm taking away the lock to player X on the second move trigger. So the only thing different between the two move triggers is the top one does not have lock to player X, and it's moving -1000. And as you can see, I'm linking it. And I had to set it over this black backdrop that I set, but behind the SCP logo and the little black square you see over it, that's going to help it fade in without looking ugly. So now that I have it set, I'm going to take a look at it, and it does not look good at all. That's okay, because we have to play around with it to find what you like. As you can see these little dots. That's not pretty at all. So what I'm doing first is something I like to call a scramble method. There is no name for it, I just like to call it that. I'm going to select some random parts of it. It's a lot harder with glow, but I'm going to select some random parts of it and just rotate it twice. It's a lot harder with glow, especially because I'm just selecting squares of it basically, but it's really useful for other things. As you can see, I'm having troubles with it. So now I'm just turning on free move while I'm edit, and I'm just kind of dragging my finger around the screen. Just like in random places, I'm not really going for anything accurate. I'm just dragging it around to space it out, because when it's all clumped together, you're going to get those dots. Right, so once you have it spaced out good enough, as you can see, it's fine. It looks kind of weird, but it's going to look a lot better. Now I'm going to move it up so that it's covering the whole thing. There aren't too many holes. There's going to be a few holes, and now I'm going to copy and paste it and move it down. And this took me a little bit to figure out, but I had to flip it around right, and I don't know what the heck was happening when I did this. Yeah, you just want to set it in the right place. Now the whole thing is going to be covered, and it's going to look so much better.
Welcome to the SCP Sound Action.
It still seems very bright, and I'm not happy with it, so I'm going to select it, just select one of them, and set the color's opacity to 0.03. And it doesn't necessarily have to be this for you, whatever works.
Welcome to the SCP Sound Action.
Now you can see this looks so much better. Now I had to reset the second move trigger because, as you can see here, it was moving too fast. And what you're going to want to do, if it's moving too fast, set it for something closer to 0. At first I had it at -1000. Then I moved it down to, up to -500. So now this is the final product for the atmosphere. It looks a lot better.
Welcome to the SCP Sound Action. You've been up guarding SCP-178, class U-082, class U-512, class A106.
Now my level does look a bit ugly here, and that's just because I had the atmosphere effect still going. At that point in the level, like in my real level, it wasn't there at that point. So yeah, that's how you create an atmosphere for your level. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope this was helpful.